and the danger of Vladimir Putin. Yeah, I almost coughed up my connectigazoink when I
Oh,
read this tweet. Greetings from Tel Aviv. I'm conducting an independent counterterrorism study of the 10/7 massacre and how the IDF is fighting Hamas in Gaza. Also answering your questions about history, apartheid, colonialism, genocide. I'll be reporting on TikTok, Substack, and YouTube. As a information consumer, as I said, I'm very happy about this. As a
yes.
friend, I'm like, stop going to war zones, Malcolm. You're killing me.
Oh, do a little Nance. Traitor Donald Trump. Get Malcolm Nance. Get Mal tonight. Listen, Malcolm Nance. Traitor Donald Trump. Get Malcolm Nance. It's Mal tonight.
Oh God, my heart. I just recovered from COVID, Malcolm. Really? Really? Must you?
Well, first off, someone's going to have to show me where this war zone is.
Yeah.
It's about, actually, in fact, it's about 60 miles south of me.
Yeah.
That's where Gaza is. I'm in Tel Aviv,
Yeah.
Jaffa, where I'm actually reporting from the place that I'm staying and doing my podcasts and other recordings for Substack out of is really swanky. It's on the beach. It's in a area that is so old. Right outside my window is a rock, is a sea feature or a rock in the middle of the bay called the Rock of Andromeda, and it's so old it is mentioned in Greek mythology,
Wow.
where
Wow.
Perseus came
Wow.
and rescued Princess Andromeda after her mother Cassiopeia gave her up to the sea god Poseidon, and he bought the head of Medusa
Wow.
to kill the sea monster that was going to rescue her. I have coffee in front of it
So
in the
what your
morning.
point is Joe Biden is very, very young compared to that. All right, let's So you wrote a piece, as you do, for your Substack special mission, observing the Israel-Hamas war. You said, I've traveled back to the Middle East on a mission, a very special mission. I'm in Israel, headed to Gaza, the West Bank, and the northern border to study the counterterrorism aspects of the Israel-Hamas war. This study will include the counterinsurgency in the West Bank, the budding war with Hezbollah in the northern cities, and the military operations of the Israeli army in Gaza. And, you remind us, you spent your first 10 years in naval intelligence working in the Eastern Mediterranean. So, basically, this line, you said, it became clear to me the only way I was going to cut through the current fog of stupidity was to get on the ground and explain things in short, easily consumable commentary, both on video and in writing. So you're doing this and TikTok and
Yeah.
Substack. So talk to us. You said, those who follow me know I have zero tolerance for the propaganda and lies of terrorist groups. I'll be spending the next month there in Israel. You said if they can push 30-second pieces of propaganda, I can push out 30-second to 1-minute pieces of facts from the ground. So talk to us about what you're seeing and feeling, first of all.
Well, first off, Israel is an extremely modern country.
Right.
It's like Los Angeles without all the bums down at Venice Beach, and which I'm not sure it loses some color in that way. But it's an extremely integrated society. I'm going to tell you something. I haven't been back in Israel in 30 years. I lived here for a short while. And now what I see is a vibrant, multicultural democracy. This is a pretty brown country. I mean, people have this image of the Ashkenazi Jews who came from Europe coming here at the end of at the end of World War II. This country is 80% Mizrahi Jews. Those are Jews who were ethnically cleansed from Arab countries, Morocco, Algeria, Egypt, Yemen, large number of Yemenis, Iraqis, Lebanese, Syrians, all the rest, people who have come from those countries. They live here. They have their children here. It is virtually impossible to tell them apart from Israeli Arabs. The 20% of this country is made up of Palestinian Arabs who stayed here after 1948. 3% of the population, 160,000 Jews, are Ethiopian Jews who came from the Eritrea region of Ethiopia. The first guy I met here was a refugee from Darfur, a southern Sudanese Christian who left because he was ethnically cleansed by, Islamist extremist militiamen. So, it's really amazing how super multicultural this country is. And my next article, which you're going to see later today or early in tomorrow morning, is about the claim that Israel is an apartheid state. Someone's going to have to find me some apartheid here, because most people have this impression that the West Bank and Gaza are part of Israel. They are not. They are independently self-sustained areas where Hamas, or self-administrated areas where Hamas was the leadership and the Palestinian Authority is the leadership, but it's not Israel. And there is a very strong border between the two. As we saw on October 7th, Hamas invaded Israel. And the first thing they did was they slaughtered every person on the other side of the border, including 70 Muslim Bedouins, Druze, Christians, Maronites, Catholics, Thai Buddhists. They didn't care. On the other side of the border, it's not apartheid, it's not segregation. It's an area, it's a group of people that have their own homogenous society and who are hell bent on eliminating this multicultural democracy here.
Yeah. Malcolm, let's talk about the politics here a little bit. Excuse me. The Senate voted to table a resolution that would require the Department of State to produce a report about Israel's actions in Gaza to determine whether they've committed human rights violations. The reporting is Biden and his administration have repeatedly urged Netanyahu to work to minimize civilian casualties, but have expressed frustration. One Biden official said the president's patience is running out. With Netanyahu specifically. So what is your take on, again, I don't know what Biden does.
Well,
obviously Netanyahu wants to hang on to power. He doesn't want any of this to end because he knows his grasp on power is tenuous, isn't it?
Well, let me tell you, his biggest threat are the parents of the people who are hostages, because they had a massive protest here the other day. I just missed it by a couple of hours when I arrived. And, like the disappeared of Argentina, they have a disproportionate political impact because it's their families, children, women, and young men that are all hostages down there. Netanyahu, his form of right-wing extremist politics, I don't think it can survive. Good. I think when you talk about, engagement by the Biden administration, he's speaking to the other side of this government. He's speaking to the people who did not.
What is Biden supposed to do? I guess that's my main question. Yeah. What is Biden supposed to do? I wish, honestly, I wished yesterday they could get rid of Netanyahu. But go ahead.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Well, first off, the United States has to maintain its policy. Israel is an ally, and I want to point out some things that just drive me absolutely crazy. That the stupid TikTok education system that we have right now is just amazing. Israel got $3 billion a year from the United States and has gotten none since we really initiated this war. In fact, what we did was allow them to take ammunition from American war stocks that were being stored here in Israel. And it was generally artillery and some precision weapons. But we are not funding the Israeli war on Gaza. Israel has a robust defense industry. The United States gives them $3.5 billion a year. We give Egypt the exact same amount, $3.5 billion a year, as part of the Camp David Treaty of, in 1979. Yeah. So, when I hear that, this is Americans are killing babies, or whatever is going on. The Biden administration has to maintain that. Another thing, 70% of Americans supporting Israel.
Yeah.
The very small, vocal, outsized micro minority of social justice activists and people who are chanting that they would like to genocide the Israelis by wiping them out from the river to the sea. They don't represent America.
Yeah.
They don't represent Malcolm, anybody other than themselves.
The reason you keep going from one place to another that gives me a heart attack is because it is all connected. We just played President Zelensky speaking. We've got some Secretary of State Blinken speaking about how I don't know how people don't get it's in America's interests. That and it is all connected. That Putin funded and trained Hamas. That he loves this. It's all. And if you let Putin just take Ukraine, talk about what that means for the United States.
I mean, people have forgotten because, again, we're in a TikTok world. They don't understand that the price of their Cheerios and gas is dependent on the United States having free trade and freedom of navigation with merchant shipping around the world. Iran, Russia are acting as an axis with these terrorist proxies in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen to destabilize the Western world. When this war started, it benefited Vladimir Putin and Iran. And Iran suddenly realized that they could impact. As a matter of fact, I wrote a Substack about that too. The America's at war with Yemen, war-ish with Yemen. But they did this to destabilize the American political environment. They know that a rabid Donald Trump would be the best thing in the world for Iran. They could work quickly to get an atomic bomb by destabilizing prices, by using Yemeni rebels or Yemeni terrorists to cut off access to the Suez Canal would raise prices all around the world. The Iranians are very sophisticated. Moscow speaks to them on a minute-to-minute basis. So anything that destabilizes America, destabilizes Ukraine, destabilizes Israel, destabilizes the world, works for our enemies.
I was saying that, actually I'm looking at Carlos Alzraki coming up, and just about how everything, as you say, would be worse. God forbid if Trump were in office. Gaza would be a parking lot. He would have already given Ukraine to Putin. But Carlos says the far left who call Biden a war hawk. He's not invaded anyone, by the way. Trump's verbal response to the Houthis and now Iran would be to bomb the hell out of them, the likes of which they've never seen. That's always his, solution. It's quote unquote.
Not to mention Trump's statement making it very clear, that deportations from the United States would begin at 12 noon. Stephen Miller, baby Goebbels said that himself. And, by the way, that was one of the greatest days I ever had. One of the funniest jokes I ever made on Bill Maher was calling him baby Goebbels. So,
I know, Gravy Seals and Meal Team 6 are up there as well.
Yep.
Go ahead.
But this guy, Trump has said he will deport anyone that supported the Free Palestine movement. He would remove all school and student visas from anyone that participated in protests. He also said that he would deport any person who was not an American citizen that participated in any activity against Israel. This man's serious. And what do I have? I have people out there calling me a Zionist, racist, colonialist, words they don't even understand because they all have terrible dictionaries, and calling Joe Biden Genocide Joe in a place where there's no genocide.
Hey, listen, I got called a Jew
Trump,
that's not defending Israel enough this week, and I'm not Jewish, first of all, but secondly, okay. Secondly, never mind.
Boy, you're an awful Jew.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Worst.
Apparently, I'm bad. I'm worse at that than being a lesbian. This headline because you're a Navy guy. U.S. says it seized Iran missile parts bound for the Houthis after SEALs went overboard. A team of Navy SEAls lost 2 sailors overboard while searching a small boat off the coast of Somalia. Went on to find Iranian missile parts bound for Tehran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. American ships and aircrafts are continuing a huge search and rescue mission. They have disappeared in rough nighttime seas. Despite losing their 2 crew members, the team went on to find the Iranian-made ballistic missile and missile components. This kind of broke my heart. I know it does you as a sailor. One of the sailors was knocked overboard. The other one jumped in after him. That is.
Yeah, that's team guy protocol. If one of the guys goes over the side, his swim buddy goes in after him, and they link up and they await rescue. But as I understand it, I'm here on the Mediterranean Sea, and 4-foot, 5-foot swells here are really bad. In the Indian Ocean, that's where they really were. They're in the Indian Ocean. It's like the Pacific and bigger, actually. They were having 8-foot swells, which means every time a wave comes, they rise and fall 8 feet, smashing against the side of the ship. If you hit that in a trough and the water goes down, and then it comes back, I don't care how good a swimmer you are. These guys have a lot of gear. They have floaty vests that they can inflate there, but you might be knocked unconscious. God bless their families. Maybe some miracle will happen and they might be rescued. But they have a mission as well. And that mission is to recover these systems that are being sent to Yemen, have been smuggled by Iran for years. And, we're not at war with Yemen. We're at war with the systems that are being sent to Yemen designed to destroy global trade into the Suez Canal. Has
Yeah.
virtually nothing to do with Israel.
Here's what I love about you is you're an expert, but you call them floaty things and also shooty things
Yeah.
Well,
in war.
how
Okay.
you going to understand?
And quickly, I have to let you know that I ratted you out to Frangela. I sent them this tweet of yours about the black guy that's under a blanket that says Black Lives Matter is a scam. And because you are stealing Frangela's act. You said, my brothers and sisters, just remember slave patrols and slave catchers always brought one completely submissive Negro along to go into the woods to trick escaping runaways. They paid him in butter biscuits. Don't be a butter biscuit like this guy. I sent it to Frangela. I said, Malcolm is stealing your act.
They use butter biscuit all the time. You know what? I might have stolen from that because I listen to Frangela relentlessly, especially when I'm overseas.
Well, you
and
heard them
driving.
say Michael
I'm
Steele
like
has a biscuit
years
concussion,
back.
which was very rude.
You know, that guy is here in Israel right now, this right-wing Haitian American, nut who was, in his twin bed wearing his Spider-Man pajamas or something. And, he's a huge Trump supporter,
Oy.
but he's visiting right now.
Yeah.
If somebody said, you're going to call him that to your face, I'll be like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
definitely call a
Yeah.
man a butter biscuit.
Yeah.
All right, Malcolm, stay
For
safe.
Frangela.
Stay safe. Follow his Substack.
Subscribe to his Substack, please.
TikTok,
You're only
all
going
that
to get
stuff.
it on Substack.
Right.
You're only going to get these reports from Israel on Substack.
That's
All
right.
All right. Love you, Malcolm. Stay safe, please.
Yes, please.
Please, won't
All
someone
right.
think
All right.
of the
Thanks.
children and the immature radio host. Thank you. 51 minutes.